transparent iron oxide red. And I'm going to wipe it off. And this is just to ensure that I don't have, like, see how much came off? I don't have this going into my paint mixtures. You don't want that. A painting only a mother could love. Well, let's start with the block in, and we want to divide this into 3 values. So I'm starting with the darkest dark now, and I'm looking for a shape that would describe all of the darkest areas. Next comes the midtone. And now we begin the lightest value, or the third value, and that's where the light hits this beautiful kitty. So this looks like a mess. It really does, and I agree. But now we're going to try to work into this. I'm not going to worry about background yet. I'm using a paper towel to wipe away some of the brighter areas. Let's try to get the eyes in. And they start here with that typical tiger stripe. And all of this in here is very dark. And they come up like so. The eyeliner. And this is in shadow, by the way. So I could basically just do this whole eye like this, and then just add a couple of dots of color, lighter color. But I want to make sure I get the shape right. And then there is, I'm measuring the eye. There's one eye distance between the two. So right here. And she's looking straight on. I think I'm just going to move it in just a little bit more, just because. And you know what? She's on an angle more. This eye's coming down more. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing over here. Come down and come up. Now let's get that beautiful green. Put a darker green in first. And then we're going to add even lighter. highlight right here. I do see some. At an angle. I'm using this lighter color to build up an eye socket. And you can see that as I go lighter in color, I go thicker with the paint application. At this stage, I am still more interested in shapes and achieving bone structure. However, I am indicating little patches of the design of the fur as I go along. Let's lather this little one up for a shave. Finger painting. You'll notice that as I'm suggesting the lighter areas of the fur, that I have quite a bit of pigment on my brush. And I'm applying more pressure to the brush to put the paint on. I'm going to really get into the dark over here. And it is quite dark right through here. There's a dark and another dark here. Now I'm at the point where I feel like I need to get a value in at least for the background. Now, in the photo reference, the kitty is in grass, and so I'm attempting to use green, but that will change as this develops. And this has got to come up way up higher. Okay, so let's see here. Sometimes you can't see. There we go. That looks better already. Let's smear some egg yolk on this. Yellow into this. You can see this is working much better than the white did. Kind of want to just soften up that green a little bit. I'm just beginning to indicate the kitty's markings on the fur. I'm really thinking I'm going at this too dark and too thick at this point. I will resolve the outcome later in the video. All right, and this widens up a little bit right through here. But I'm going to use my fingers because I want to just suggest, because that's all that's there is a suggestion. Don't be distracted by the lines that are on the forehead of this poor kitty cat and going to the back of the ears. I do end up taking them off, but right now I'm developing the lightest lights and trying to get bone structure. The lines are distracting me, so I decided to take them off for now. Here I'm warming up the fur a little bit. I'm going to apply some thicker pigment through the top of this little kitty's head, just so that when I do put the markings in, they're not as obvious. I've decided that I'm going to address just everywhere on this kitty painting to make sure that most of it is done before I go back to try to do the markings. Here especially you can see the buildup of pigment, and that's what oils are famous for. They glow if done right. You can push paint around, you can sculpt with this medium. Although the suggestion of a tongue is cute here, I do not keep it, and you'll see later me take it away. And now I'm going to try to get those markings on the top of the kitty's head, the very important markings that make this kitty who she is. I've decided I'm going to lighten up the background, I think. My goal here is to try to set in these markings, make them look like they are part of the fur and not me painting them in. I'm going to drop this down. Notice I only dragged it once. Okay, I'm wiping the brush, and I'm going to come along here, kind of just blend through here. Okay, now we're going to do the whiskies. Off on this. There's that. I'm going to remove the tongue. I'm just going to tap a little bit here. I kind of want to blend, but not too much. Yeah, let's get the whiskers. You can see that I am using what is known as a scrape out tool. It has 2 rubber ends, and I also use this tool to sign my name on my paintings. Yeah, that's the answer. Is I really needed to come in with more highlight through here, because this is where all the light is. I'll actually scrape, I think, through there. I'm gonna connect this here very lightly. Okay.